Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let us chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktananda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांता स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Let us recite Bhagavad Gita Sloka. We are reciting from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 12, text 8. And today is the last day we'll be reciting this verse. Does anyone need to go first? So we'll go in order. Inba, Inya.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mayeva mana adatva, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivatishyasi mayeva, ata ujam nasamshayah. Translation. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt.
Inya.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mayeva mana atatva, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayeva, ata urdhvam na samshayah. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Goshu Srila Prabhupada.
Pranam Prabhuji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Mayi eva mana adatsva, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayi eva, ata urdhvam na samshayah. Translation, all Goshu Srila Prabhupada. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always, without a doubt.
Mataji is there?
No, Mataji.
Isha.
मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अतः ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt.
Ashish.
मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अतः ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt.
Madhava.
Mayeva mana adhatsva, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayeva, ata urdhvam na samshayah. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt.
Rasapriya.
मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अतः ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me without a doubt.
Priyanka Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Obeisances Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Mayeva mana adatsva, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayeva, ata urdhvam na sanshayah. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt.
Anyone else? Okay, I'll recite Bhagavad Gita chapter 12 text 8. Mayyeva mana adhatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayyeva ata urdhvam na samshayah. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. Okay. So let's read Srimad Bhagavatam. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 16. Lord Parashuram destroys the world's ruling class. So, what did we read so far? So when the sons of Kartavirya Arjun killed Jamadagni, Lord Parashuram went and took revenge. And what was the revenge? Lord Parashuram killed all the sons of Kartavirya Arjun and also all the Kshatriyas on the planet Earth. And then he took the head of Jamadagni, which was taken away by the sons of Kartavirya Arjun. He brought the head back, put it next to, kind of putting it together, kind of joining with the body, dead body of Jamadagni, performed a sacrifice to please Lord Vasudev, and then after the sacrifice, he distributed all the land, the whole planet, amongst the priests who performed the yajna. And then in this way, when he finally took his avabhrita snana, right, the last bath after a sacrifice is completed, he was shining like a cloudless sun. That means all the sins which may have been incurred because of killing Kshatriyas, they were all cleared. Again, please remember, Lord Parashuram is an incarnation. So there's no question of sins or anything for him. But nevertheless, it's to set an example that however great a person may be, he must perform sacrifices, because it is inevitable that everyone commits sinful activities, either knowingly or unknowingly. So therefore, everyone must perform sacrifice. So then we also read that in this way Jamadagni came to life. After the sacrifice was completed, Jamadagni came to life, and he also remembered everything that had happened in full knowledge, right? He came back to life and he remembered everything. And then he became one of the Saptarishis. And for Lord Parashuram, the next Manvantara, Lord Parashuram would become that also, right? What would Lord Parashuram become in the next millennium, in the next Manvantara? So we read, my dear King Parikshit, in the next Manvantara, the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead Lord Parashuram, the son of Jamadagni, will be a great propounder of Vedic knowledge. He will be one of the 7 sages. Same. So in this particular Manvantara itself, Jamadagni became one of the Saptarshis, and in the following Manvantara, Lord Parashuram himself would become one of the Saptarshis. Who's saying this? Sukadev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj. And then what did Lord Parashuram do after his father was brought back to life? Yeah, nothing is said there. It is said that Jamadagni became one of the Saptarshis, and then Parashuram would become a Saptarshi in the next millennium. Also, but what did he do in this millennium? After Parashuram killed all the Kshatriyas, and then he divided the whole earth amongst the priests, what did he himself do? He went and retired on the Mahendra hills, the mountainous country known as Mahendra. He gave up all his weapons, and then there he is always worshipped by the celestial beings like Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas. Even to this day, Parashuram is residing there in Mahendra Hills. So this is how the Supreme Lord descended as an avatar in the Bhrigu dynasty as Parashuram. And what was the function of Lord Parashuram? To relieve the earth of its burden of undesirable kings. So now text 28. So we are going to now read about Vishwamitra Muni. So we can start with Inba. Gadhera bhun mahatejah samidha iva pavakaha tapasa kshatram utsrijya yo lebhe brahma varchasam.
Vishwamitra, the son of Maharaj Gandhi, was as powerful as the flames of fire. From the position of a Kshatriya, he achieved the position of a powerful Brahmana by undergoing penances and austerities.
So we discussed this a little bit the other day, that Adi's daughter is Satyavati. He didn't have any sons. And Satyavati's son was Jamadagni. And Jamadagni's son became Parashuram. But Gadi's son directly, he became Vishwamitra Muni, who had Brahminical propensities. So he becomes later on Vishwamitra, the son of Gadi. Again, how he is born? By taking the oblation which was meant for Satyavati, that's taken by Gadi's wife. So that's why she would get a son who was a powerful Brahmin. So Vishwamitra, the son of Maharaj Gadi, was as powerful as the flames of fire. From the position of a Kshatriya, he achieved the position of a powerful Brahmana. So initially he was a Kshatriya. And then from there, he achieved the position of a powerful Brahmana. How? By undergoing severe penances and austerities. Purport. Inia.
Now, having narrated the history of Lord Parashurama, Shukadeva Goswami begins the history of Vishwamitra. From the history of Parashurama, we can understand that although Parashurama belonged to the Brahminical group, he circumstantially had to work as a Kshatriya. Later, after finishing his work as a Kshatriya, he again became a Brahmana and returned to Mahendra Parvata. Similarly, we can see that although Vishwamitra was born in a Kshatriya family, by austerities and penances, he achieved the position of a Brahmana. These histories confirm the statement in Shastra that a Brahmana may become a Kshatriya may become a Brahmana or Vaishya, and a Vaishya may become a Brahmana by achieving the required qualities. One's status does not depend upon birth. As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 11, verse 35 by Narada, यस्य यल्लक्षणं प्रोक्तं पुंसो वर्णाभिव्यञ्जकं यदन्यत्रापि दृश्येत तत्तेनैव विनिर्दिशेत्. If one shows the symptoms of being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, even if he has appeared in a different class, he should be accepted according those symptoms of classification. To know who is a Brahmana and who is a Kshatriya, one must consider a man's quality and work. If all the unqualified Shudras become so-called Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, social order will be impossible to maintain. Thus, there will be discrepancies. Human society will turn into a society of animals, and the situation all over the world will be hellish.
Vishwamitra Muni. Vishwamitra Muni means at first he's a Kshatriya. Srila Prabhupada is saying that so far we have seen the history of Lord Parashuram, who was born to a Brahmana, so he appeared as a Brahmana, but due to circumstances he acted as a Kshatriya. And now we will see about Vishwamitra, who is born as a Kshatriya. He's born to Maharaj Gadi, who is a Kshatriya. So the son is also trained as a Kshatriya. Nevertheless, he becomes a Brahmana later on. Born in a Kshatriya family, but by performance of austerities and penances, he achieves the position of a Brahmana. So what is to be noted here? One may be born as a Brahmana, one may be born as a Kshatriya, but it's not necessary that whatever you may be In whatever varna one may be born, it's not necessary that he should be that throughout life. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. It can be changed. So similarly, if somebody is born in a low social order, somebody is born as a Shudra, it doesn't mean he is eternally a Shudra. If he is properly trained, then he can become a Brahmana. Then the next question is, how do you know? How do you identify a person if he's a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra? So the answer is by his quality and by his work. And when you say work also, I heard this in the Srimad Bhagavatam class once. Work means that by which he is earning his livelihood. The type of work that he does to earn his livelihood, that determines what his varna is. And also his quality, right? For example, Brahmanas are tolerant, forgiving, right? These are qualities. So you can tell who is a Brahmana by his quality. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. You can tell a person's varna. How? By his quality and also by the work that he does for his livelihood. And that can be changed. It can be changed. Just because you're born into a particular situation, it doesn't mean you have to remain the same. It can be changed. From Brahmana, you can change to Shudra. Yes, it doesn't mean that because you took birth in a Brahmana family, so you are always a Brahmana. You will be judged based on your work. What type of work are you doing? Are you doing Brahmanical type of work for your livelihood? Or you're doing Shudra type of work for your livelihood? Then regardless of what title you may have, you'll be a Shudra if you're doing a Shudra's type of work. That's also important. So even though one may be born as a Brahmana, he can be degraded to a Shudra. And someone else born as a Shudra can be elevated to the position of a Brahmana. It is possible. It's not like someone, like once you take birth, then you're rubber stamped as a Brahmana for life. It's not necessary. Although in a Vedic society, in general, these are exceptional cases. Normally, because in a Vedic society, there's proper training. When someone is born in a Kshatriya family, he's trained as a Kshatriya. Like that. But it's not a hard and fast rule that because he's born in a Kshatriya family and because he's trained as a Kshatriya, now he has to be a Kshatriya. It's not necessary. It can be changed. And you go by that person's quality and his work. Then there is this verse quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto, where Narad Muni is saying, Yasya yallakshanam proktam pumso varnabhivyanjakam. So lakshanam. Lakshan means what? Characteristic features. Yasya yallakshanam proktam pumso varnabhivyanjakam yadanyatrapi drishyeta tatte naiva vinirdishet. Means if one shows the symptoms of being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra, right? Even if he has appeared in a different class, he should be accepted according to those symptoms of classification. Direct statement. So this is a quote if you ever want to quote. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 11, Text 35. Narad Muni speaking, 7:11:35. If you see the symptoms of a Brahman, Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra in a person, regardless of where he takes birth, based on the symptoms, you must accept him as such, right? Regardless of where he takes birth, by his quality, by the symptoms, you can just accept him as a Brahmana. This is a statement in Srimad Bhagavatam. if all the unqualified Shudras become so-called Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, social order will be impossible to maintain. Yes. So, like in today's world, everyone is encouraged to go to school, isn't it? And study and, you know, so basically everyone is studying and but what is the quality? Is that being seen before giving education? The system in Gurukul is that when the student goes to Gurukul, the teacher first identifies what is the quality of the student. Does he have the qualities of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra? The Guru is expert to figure that out. And then, if he finds out that this is a Kshatriya, then he will teach only those subjects which are useful for a Kshatriya. And if he sees this is a Vaishya, then he will teach those subjects which are useful for a Vaishya. Similarly, Brahmana, he will teach those subjects which are useful for a Brahmana. Is that happening? Are people even being identified in today's world? What is the natural propensity of the student? And are they being trained accordingly? Or are we saying that everyone should do the same thing, right? We just create, like anyone who becomes a doctor is successful. So everyone wants to become a doctor. By the way, according to Vedic society, doctors are considered Shudras. But in modern society, whether doctor or lawyer, and then you think, oh, it's a very successful thing. So everyone wants to do that. But that's not a scientific system. That's not scientific. What is scientific? Having a division, right? Classification. That is more scientific. That's an advanced system according to a person's natural propensity. Thus, there will be discrepancies. Human society will turn into a society of animals, and the situation all over the world will be hellish. When unqualified Shudras take posts of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, right? So they become teachers, Shudras will become teachers and professors, and they will become the leaders and presidents and ministers. Then, what is the condition of society? Human society will turn into a society of animals. Next. विश्वामित्रस्य चैवासन् पुत्रा एकशतं नृप मध्यमस्तु मधुच्छन्दा मधुच्छन्दस एव ते. Jai Ganesh Prabhu's there.
Yes, Mataji. O King Parikshit, Vishwamitra had 101 sons, of whom the middle one was known as Madhuchanda. In relation to him, all the other sons were celebrated as the Madhuchandas.
Read the purport also, Prabhu. 2 lines.
Perfect. In this connection, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura quotes the statement from the Vedas, Tashyaha Vishwamitra Shaika Satam Putra Ashu Panchashad Eva Jayamso Madhuchandasha Panchashat Kaniyamshaha. Vishwamitra had 101 sons, 50 were older than Madhuchanda and 50 younger.
Nice. So he was in the middle. Madhuchanda was in the middle. So Vishwamitra Muni is the son of Maharaj Gadi, and Vishwamitra had 101 sons. 50 sons. The 51st was Madhuchanda, and then after Madhuchanda he had another 50 sons. So total 101. And because this Madhuchanda was a very famous person, right? Therefore, all the others were named after Madhuchanda, just like what is the example? Can you give some example? Because of one, you can say Bharatas, right? Bharatas, the descendants of King Bharata. So everyone coming in the line of Bharat Maharaj are called Bharatas, right? Like that. So similarly, Madhuchanda was a famous king, famous son of Vishwamitra Muni. So because of him, all the brothers, the 50 before him and 50 after him, are called Madhuchandas. Okay. So Vishwamitra Muni had 101 sons. Next. पुत्रं कृत्वा शुनशेफं देवरातं च भार्गवम् आजीगर्तं सुतानाः ज्येष्ठ एषा प्रकल्प्यताम्. So Mataji is not there, right? Jai Shri Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
She's there.
She's not here,
She's
Mataji.
not. Isha.
Vishwamitra accepted the son of Ajigartha, known as Shunashepa, who was born in the Bhrigu dynasty and was also known as Devarata, as one of his own sons. Vishwamitra ordered his other sons to accept Shunashepa as their eldest brother.
Okay. So what is the history? We read Shunashepa when we were reading about Harishchandra, Rohita, right? What was the story? You remember? Yeah.
As far as I remember, he was going to sacrifice his son to Varuna, I think. But Rohita, he didn't want to be sacrificed. So he went and conquered this kingdom, which prince was Shunashepa, I think.
No. He actually went to the forest and then he was asked to go on pilgrimage. So he kept going for 5 years. Meanwhile, King Harishchandra became bloated because he had promised to give King Varuna, sacrifice his son to King Varuna, because it was by, sorry, not King Varun, Varun Dev, because it was by Varun Dev's blessing that he got the son Rohita on the condition that he would sacrifice him. And then because he was not able to fulfill, Varuna kept coming to him, so will you sacrifice? And he said, oh, he's still a baby, let his teeth come, and like that he just kept postponing it. And finally, Rohita just left home when it was time to sacrifice. He said, I don't want to be sacrificed, so he left. So when he left, then Varuna came and Harishchandra became bloated and he was suffering. So then Rohita brought someone else to be sacrificed in his place. Okay, Inia.
Mataji, the father, like his oldest son, and the mother of Shunashepa liked the youngest son. So Rohita took Shunashepa.
Can you say that again?
Shunashepa's father was partial to the oldest son, and Shunashepa's mother was the youngest son's favorite.
So he is in the middle, Shunashepa?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So they let him, they said you can sacrifice him?
Yes, Mataji.
Oh, so Rohita brought Shunashepa.
Yes, Mataji.
So then he was not sacrificed then?
Then Vishwamitra Muni will find Shunashepa and he'll use a mantra to make sure that Shunashepa does not die during the sacrifice.
Oh, we read this already? No, right?
Mataji?
Did we read this?
No, Mataji.
We didn't. Okay.
I read it somewhere else.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Because what I said before this, we had read when we were reading about the descendants of Vikukshi. There we read about Harishchandra, who is also coming in the line of Vikukshi. Vikukshi is the son of Ikshvaku. Ikshvaku is the son of Vaivasvata Manu, yeah, Shraddhadev. So Ikshvaku had 100 sons, so 3 of them were prominent. One of the 3 is Vikukshi. So Vikukshi's descendants, Harishchandra, Raja Harishchandra comes. So there we read about Harishchandra, how he got a son. He was not having any children and all that. So Rohita, and we came up to Shunashepa. And then even I remember we read about Devarata. But yeah, the other part that you said, I don't remember reading it, but that kind of completes. So let's read now. Let's see. Thank you. So Vishwamitra accepted the son of Ajigartha known as Shunashepa, who was born in the Bhrigu dynasty and was also known as Devarata. So this Shunashepa is also known as Devarata. Okay. Shunashepa is also known as Devarata. And Vishwamitra accepted Shunashepa or Devarata as one of his own sons. Vishwamitra ordered his other sons also to accept Shunashepa as their eldest brother. Okay. But I have a question here. Harishchandra. So we are reading about whose descendants here? Oh, we finished. That's right. We are going to the next brother, right? So we
Yes, Mataji.
that's right. So this is parallel. Okay. Now it makes sense. Yeah, I was okay. So this is coming from whom? Which brother? This what we are reading now?
Mataji, this is Chandravamsha, right, Mataji?
That's right. This is Chandravamsa. We are done with Suryavamsa. That's right. Yes. Thank you. So this is coming parallelly. Okay. Very nice. Okay. So Vishwamitra Muni. So this is how they are meeting, right? Suryavamsa's Harishchandra and Chandravamsa's Shunashepa. Because Vishwamitra Muni adopted this Shunashepa as his son. Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
All right. Next. Text 31. So Krishna Shish. यो वै हरिश्चन्द्रमखे विक्रीतः पुरुषः पशुः स्तुत्वा देवान् प्रजेशादीन् मुमुचे पाशबन्धनात्.
Shunashepa's father told Shunashepa to be sacrificed as a man animal in the yajna of King Harishchandra. When Shunashepa was brought into the sacrificial arena, he prayed to the demigods for release, and was released by their mercy.
Madhava, read the purport.
Here are the description of Shunashepa. When Harishchandra was to sacrifice his son Rohita, Rohita arranged to save his own life by purchasing Shunashepa from Shunashepa's father to be sacrificed in the yajna. Shunashepa was sold to Maharaj Harishchandra because he was the middle son, between the oldest and the youngest. It appears that the sacrifice of a man with an animal yajna has been practiced for a very long time.
So clear, right? Shunashepa is the son of Ajigartha, some person. And Rohita purchased Shunashepa to be sacrificed to Varuna in his place. And how Shunashepa was sold by the father to Rohita to be sacrificed? He was sold because Shunashepa was the middle son. So like Inya said, the father was attached to the eldest son, the older one, and the mother to the younger one. Shunashepa was in the middle. So they let Shunashepa be sold to be sacrificed. So Rohita, when he understood that his father, he was all bloated and he was suffering because Rohita was to be sacrificed and he didn't go. So in his place, he got Shunashepa to be sacrificed. So Shunashepa was brought to be sacrificed, and one point to be noted is human sacrifice was allowed, was practiced for a very long time, right? Just like animal sacrifice, even human sacrifice was practiced. यो रातो देवयजने देवैर्गाधिषु तापसः देवराता इति ख्यातः शुनश्शेफस्तु भार्गवः. Rasapriya.
Although Shunashipa was born in the
Bhargava.
Bhagavad dynasty, he was greatly advanced in spiritual life, and therefore the demigods involved in the sacrifice protected him. Consequently, he was also celebrated as a descendant of Gandhi named Devarata.
So Shunashepa was to be sacrificed. He was being sacrificed, but as we read in the previous verse, he prayed to the demigods, and because he was very advanced in spiritual life, Shunashepa was advanced in spiritual life, so the demigods protected him in that sacrifice. So he didn't die, right? He was protected. So consequent, that means Varuna is also satisfied and Shunashepa is also saved. And he got the name Devarata. Devarata. And he's also celebrated as a descendant of Gadi. How? Because Vishwamitra adopted him, right? And Vishwamitra is the son of Gadi. So Devarata is celebrated as a descendant of Gadi. So we are reading about the Chandra Vamsa. So that's how Shunashepa or Devarata is also in the line of Chandra Vamsa. Ye madhuchandaso jyeshtaha kushalam menire natad ashapattan munihi kruddho mlecha bhavata durjanaha. Sonia Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
When requested by their father to accept Sunakshepa as the eldest son, the elder 50 of the Madhuchandas, the son of Viswamitra, did not agree. Therefore, Viswamitra, being angry, cursed them. May all of you bad sons become Malecha, he said, being opposed to the principle of Vedic culture.
Wow. So the 51st son is Madhuchanda. So when Vishwamitra Muni brought Shunashepa and said, you should accept him as your eldest brother. The first 50 Madhuchandas, all of them are called Madhuchandas. The 51st is Madhuchanda. So the first 50 Madhuchandas said, no, we won't accept him as the eldest son, eldest brother. And Vishwamitra Muni cursed, okay, because you're disobedient, you're bad sons, because you're not obedient to your father, therefore you should all become Mlechas. Being opposed to the. So Mlecha means one who is opposed to the principles of Vedic culture is called Mlecha. Anyone who is opposed to the principles of Vedic culture is called a Mlecha. We're discussing at length how Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is not by birth but by quality. Similarly, Mlecha is also not simply by birth, it's by quality. Anyone who is opposed to the principles of Vedic culture must be called a Mlecha, regardless of where he takes birth. If he is opposed to the principles of Vedic culture, then by definition, he is a Mlecha. Next, purport, Nilambari Radha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. In Vedic literature, there are names like Mlecha and Yavana. The Mlechas are understood to be those who do not follow the Vedic principles. In former days, the Mlechas were fewer. and Vishwamitra Muni cursed his son to become lechas. But in the present age, Kali Yuga, there is no need of cursing, for people are automatically mlechas. This is only the beginning of Kali Yuga. But at the end of Kali Yuga, the entire population will consist of mlechas, because no one will follow the Vedic principles. At that time, the incarnation Kalki will appear. Mlecha in mlecha na nivaha mlecha nivaha nidhani. Kalayashi Karan Karavalam Mlecha Nivaha Nidhane Kalayashi Karavam Karavalam. Oh, this is from the Dashavatara Sutra, right? He will kill the yes. He will kill all the mlechas there indiscriminately with his sword. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So, yeah. So the point is, in Kali Yuga, everyone, as time progresses in Kali Yuga, everyone, the entire population will consist of only mlechas. Mlecha means what? Anyone who is opposed to the principles of Vedic culture is a mlecha. So we are already seeing it, but whatever little here and there you may see, little bit of Vedic culture, that will also disappear as Kali Yuga progresses. But in former days, very few people were mlechas. So Vishwamitra Muni is cursing, you become a mlecha, right? But now there's no need of cursing. Everyone is a mlecha, Srila Prabhupada is saying. So it's only in name, right? You can have titles. You're a Kshatriya, you're a Brahmana, or you're a, a Vaishya. It's just names, titles. If you see the lifestyle, if you see the practices, everyone is a mlecha. Unless somebody is actually practicing. Very rarely you may find. Okay. Next. Priyanka Haripriya Mataji. सहोवाच मधुच्छन्दाः सार्धं पञ्चाशता ततः यन्नो भवान् संजानीते यन्नो भवान् संजानीते तस्मिंस्तिष्ठामहे वयम्.
When the elder Madhuchandas were cursed, the younger 50, along with the Madhuchanda himself, approached their father and agreed to accept his proposal. Dear father, they said, we shall abide by whatever arrangement you like.
So when they saw that the older 50 were cursed to become lechas, they got scared, right? When the elder Madhuchandas were cursed, the younger 50, along with Madhuchanda himself, so 51st is Madhuchanda and his younger 50 brothers, they approached their father and agreed to accept his proposal. Dear father, we shall abide by whatever arrangement you like. That means we accept Shunashepa or Devarata to be our eldest brother. Jyeshtam mantra, so we'll start again. So inba. Jyeshtam mantra drisham chakrus tvam anvancho vayam smahi vishwamitrah sutan aha viravanto bhavishyatha ye manam menu grihnanto viravantam akartamam.
Thus the younger Madhuchundas accepted Sunashepa as her elder brother and told him, we shall follow your orders. Vishwamitra then said to his obedient sons, because you have accepted Sunashepa as your eldest brother, I am very satisfied. By accepting my order, you have made me a father of worthy sons, and therefore I bless all of you to become the fathers of sons also.
Yeah, and you can read the purport, 2 lines.
Yes, Mataji. Of the 100 sons, half disobeyed Vishwamitra by not accepting Shunasefa as their eldest brother, but the other half accepted his order. Therefore, the father blessed the obedient sons to become the fathers of sons. Otherwise, they too would have been cursed to be sonless mlechas.
Yeah, so mlechas, they were cursed earlier. The older 50 were cursed to be mlechas, but along with that, it's understood that they would be sunless mlechas. But because the younger 50, actually 51, including Madhuchanda, they were obedient, the father was very pleased with them and he blessed them. I bless that you also become fathers of worthy sons. Like you have been worthy sons, so you will also become fathers. You will also have sons like that. Next. एषवः कुशिको वीरो देवरातस्तमन्विता अन्ये चाष्टकहारीता जयक्रतुमद् आदयः. Prabhuji is there?
Vishwamitra said, O Kushikas, descendants of Kaushika, this Devarata is my son and is one of you. Please obey his orders. O King Parikshit, Vishwamitra had many other sons such as Ashtaka, Harita, Jaya, and Kratumar.
So he's speaking to his 51 sons because older 50 were cursed already. So Vishwamitra is telling them, O Kushikas. Kushikas means the descendants of Kaushika. Devarata is also my son. So, like you are my sons, he is also my son. He is one of you. All of you are my sons. So he is also one of you. You should obey his orders because he is the eldest. You should all obey his orders. Accept him as one amongst you. And he is the eldest, so you should all obey him. And yeah, and because they had already, they said, we will do whatever you say. So he gave this instruction. You should obey him as your eldest brother. And then Vishwamitra Muni, apart from them, had many other sons. It said he had 101 sons. So many other sons. I don't know if this is included within the Madhuchandas. So there's Ashtaka, Harita, Jaya, Kratuman, etc. Next. Evam Kaushika Gotram tu Vishwamitrai Prithagvidham Pravarantaram Apannam Tadhi Chaivam Prakalpitam. Isha.
Vishwamitra cursed some of his sons and blessed the others, and he also adopted a son. Thus, there were varieties in the Kaushika dynasty, but among all the sons, Devarata was considered the eldest. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 9th canto, 16th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Lord Parashuram Destroys the World's Ruling Class.
Yes. So what are we reading? We are reading about the Chandravamsa. So in Chandravamsa, what is the lineage? Chandra Vamsa begins with Soma. So we saw how Soma was born. You remember how Soma was born? Soma is the son of Atri Muni. Yes? Atri Muni. So he is the expansion of Lord Brahma, Soma, born to Atri and Anasuya. Then Soma had a son called Buddha from the wife of Brihaspati. What was her name? Tara?
Tara.
Yeah. So Soma had a son called Buddha. Very qualified, very beautiful son. And this Buddha married Ila. Ila is Sudyumna, who became a woman. Buddha married Ila. And then they had a son called Aila. Who's that? Pururava. Uda's son is Pururava. And then Pururava had sons, many sons from Urvashi. So there was a long list of generations of kings. And finally we came to Gadhi in that descent. And then Gadhi had a son called Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra had 101 sons. But of those 101 sons, 50 were Mlechas. The eldest was Shunashepa, who was actually adopted. But he's also counted as a descendant of Gadhi because Vishwamitra Muni adopted. And then there were the remaining 51 sons, Madhuchandas, who were all obedient. So therefore we will see in the lineage coming from Vishwamitra Muni, there are different types of sons or different types of kings. Next chapter, chapter 17, the dynasties of the sons of Pururava. Ayu, the eldest son of Pururava, had 5 sons. This chapter describes the dynasties of 4 of them, beginning with Kshatravriddha. Ayu, the son of Pururava, had 5 sons: Nahusha, Kshatravriddha, Raji, Rabha, and Anena. The son of Kshatravriddha was Suhotra, who had 3 sons named Kashya, Kusha, and Gritsamada. The son of Gritsamada was Shunaka, and his son was Shaunaka. The son of Kashya was Kashi. From Kashi came the sons and grandsons known as Rashtra, Dirghatama, and then Dhanvantari, who was the inaugurator of medical science and was a Shaktavesh incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. The descendants of Dhanvantari were Ketuman, Bhimaratha, Divodasa, and Dyuman, who was also known as Pratardana, Shatrujit, Vatsa, Ritadhvaja, and Kuvalayashva. The son of Dyuman was Alarka, who reigned over the kingdom for many, many years. Following in the dynasty of Alarka were Santati, Sunitha, Niketana, Dharmaketu, Satyaketu, Dhrishtaketu, Sukumara, Vitihotra, Bharga, and Bharga Bhumi. All of them belong to the dynasty of Kashi, the descendant of Kshatravriddha. The son of Rabha was Rabhasa, and his son was Gambhira. Gambhira's son was Akriya, and from Akriya came Brahmavit. The son of Anena was Shuddha, and his son was Shuchi. The son of Shuchi was Chitrakrit, whose son was Shantaraja. Raji had 500 sons, all of extraordinary strength. Raji was personally very powerful and was given the kingdom of heaven by Lord Indra. Later, after Raji's death, when the sons of Raji refused to return the kingdom to Indra, by Brihaspati's arrangement, they became unintelligent, and Lord Indra conquered them. The grandson of Kshatravriddha, named Kusha, gave birth to a son named Prati. From Prati came Sanjaya, from Sanjaya Jaya, from Jaya Krita, and from Krita Haryabala. The son of Haryabala was Sahadev, the son of Sahadev Hina, the son of Hina Jayasena, the son of Jayasena Sankriti, and the son of Sankriti Jaya. So these are all the descendants of King Pururava. So let's read. So Isha, you read, right? Krishna Shish. श्रीबादरायणिर्उवाच यः पुरूरवसः पुत्रा आयुस्तस्याभवन् सुताः नहुषः क्षत्रवृद्धश्च रजिराभश्च वीर्यवान् अनेन इति राजेन्द्र शृणु क्षत्रवृद्धोऽन्वयम् क्षत्रवृद्धा सुतस्यासन् सुहोत्रस्यात्मजास्त्रयः अश्यः कुशो गृत्समदा इति गृत्समदादभूत् शुनकः शौनको यस्य बह्वी च प्रवरो मुनिः. Yeah, Krishna.
Sukadeva Goswami sons. From Pururava came a son named Ayu, whose very powerful sons were Nahusha, Kshatravridha, Raji, Rabha, and Anena. O Maharaj Parikshit, now hear about the dynasty of Kshat, Kshatravridha. Kshatravridha's son was Suhotra, who had three sons named Kashya, Kusha, and Gritsamada. From Gritsamada came Shunaka, and from him came Shaunaka, the great saint, the best of those conversant with the Rig Veda.
Shaunaka Rishis, right? Shaunaka Adi Rishis. So Shaunaka is coming in which line? In the line of Pururava. So I would like to quickly go back and check the sons of Pururava. So yes, Nimi. This is Chandravamsa. Yeah, see, these are the sons. From the womb of Urvashi came 6 sons: Ayu, Shrutayu, Satyayu, Raya, Jaya, and Vijaya. Okay. From Urvashi came 6 sons. Pururava had 6 sons from Urvashi: Ayu, Shrutayu, Satyayu, Raya, Jaya, and Vijaya. Raya, Jaya, Vijaya, Ayu, Shrutayu, Satyayu. You can remember, right? Ayu, Shrutayu, Satyayu, Jaya, Vijaya, and Raya. Okay. So then, now we'll go back to what we were reading here. From Pururava came a son named. So we are now reading about the son called Ayu. So Ayu's sons were Nahusha, Kshatravridha, Raji, Rabha, and Anena. Now hear about the dynasty of Kshatravridha. Okay. Kshatravridha. Kshatravridha's son is Suhotra. Suhotra had 3 sons: Kashya, Kusha, Gritsamada. From Gritsamada came Shunaka, and from Shunaka, Shaunaka. Shaunaka is the best of those who are conversant with Rig Veda. Text 4, Madhava. काश्यस्य काशिस्तत्पुत्रो राष्ट्रो दीर्घतमः पिता धन्वन्तरिर्दीर्घतमसा आयुर्वेदप्रवर्तकः यज्ञभुग् वासुदेवांशः स्मृतमात्रार्तिनाशनः.
The son of Kasya was Kasi, and his son was Rastra. The father
Rashtra.
of Rastra. The father of
Dirghatama.
Dirgatama.
Rashtra is the father of Dirghatama.
Dirgatama had a son named Dhanvantari, who was the inaugurator of the medical science, and an incarnation of Lord Vasudev, the empire of the result of sacrifices. Who remembers the name of Dhanvantari can be released from our disease.
Dhanvantari is the same Dhanvantari, right? Like when they were churning the milk ocean. So first Dhanvantari brought nectar, and then the demon snatched it, and then Mohini Murti came. Yes, same Dhanvantari. So Dhanvantari is coming in as a descent in Chandravamsa in the line of King Pururava. That's to be noted. Okay, anyone who remembers Dhanvantari will be released from all disease. Who remembers the name of Dhanvantari becomes released from all disease. He's the inaugurator of medical science, and he's an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Next, Rasapriya. तत्पुत्रः केतुमानस्य जज्ञे भीमरथस्ततः दिवो दासोऽद्युमांस्तस्मात् pratardana iti smritaha.
The son of the Dhanvantari was Ketuman, and his son was Bhimarutha. The son of Bhimarutha was Devodasa, and the son of Devodasa was Dyuman, also known as
Pratardana.
Pratardana.
So we saw the descendants of Dhanvantari. Next, Sonia Mataji. Sa eva shatrujidvatsa ritadhvaja iti ritaha tatha kuvalayashveti prokto larkadayastataha. Sonia.
Dyuman was also known as Satrujit, Vatsa, Ratadwaja, and Kovalayasva. From him were born Alarka and other sons.
So we came up to Dyuman in the previous verse. So these are the other names of Dyuman: Shatrujit, Vatsa, Ritadvaja, and Kuvalayashva. So Dyuman was a famous king, and his son is Alarka. Alarka and others were also his sons. Shashtim Varsha Sahasrani, Shashtim Varsha Shatani cha, Nalarkada Paro Rajan, Bubuje Medinim Yuva. Nilambari Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, sorry, Mataji. Yeah. Alarka, the son of Human, reign over the earth for 66,000 years. My dear King Parikshit, no one other than him has reigned over the earth for so long as a young man. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Alarka. So Dyuman had Alarka and other sons. So this Alarka reigned over the earth for 66,000 years. And he was a young man. He reigned as a young man for 66,000 years. No one other than Alarka reigned over the earth for so long. Right? One person ruling the whole earth for 66,000 years as a young man. That credit goes to Alarka only. Okay. Next, Priyanka Haripriya Mataji. Alarkat santatistasmat sunithota niketanaha dharmaketu sutastasmat satyaketur ajayata.
From Alarka came a son named Santati, and his son was Sunitha. The son of Sunitha was Niketana. The son of Niketana was Dharmaketu, and the son of Dharmaketu was Satyaketu.
Alarka's son is Santati, Santati's son Sunitha, Sunita's son Niketana, Niketana's son Dharmaketu, Dharmaketu's son Satyaketu. So in this way, the dynasty coming from Pururava Maharaj is proceeding. We will continue the rest tomorrow. So today is also the disappearance day of Devananda Pandit. So I'll just read a little bit about Devananda Pandit, and it's Ekadasi today, first Ekadasi of 2024. Let's read a little bit. Sri Devananda Pandit used to live at Kulia. What is Kulia? It's modern day Navadvip. Used to live at Kulia. He was a famous reciter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and many people used to study the Bhagavatam under his guidance. One afternoon, Srivas Pandit came to hear Devananda Pandit's recitation of the Bhagavatam. Hundreds of students were seated around the Pandit, and some were following his reading, in their own personal copies of the manuscript. Srivas Pandit was a very advanced devotee, and thus when the sweet nectar of the Bhagavatam entered his ears, his heart became softened in love of God. He started to cry and roll on the ground, his body having become agitated by the waves of ecstatic love. When the students of Devananda saw this, they thought, this fellow must be crazy. He is disturbing our hearing of the recitation. Get him out of here. Thus they picked him up and carried him outside. Though Devananda saw all this taking place, he didn't prevent those foolish students from committing this offense. So he didn't prevent those foolish students of his, they were his students, from committing this offense. As the Guru was ignorant, so his students were sinful. Srivas said nothing, but simply went to his house feeling very sad. All of this occurred before the appearance of Sri Gaur Sundar. So this was long before. During Mahaprabhu's exhibition of his divine position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead for 21 hours, he asked Srivas if he remembered the incident. One day when Mahaprabhu was taking a stroll around Nadia Nagar, he came to Maheshwar Visharada Pandit's house. Who is Maheshwar Visharada? Maheshwar Visharada is Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's father. So, in Vidyanagar. So, one day when Mahaprabhu was taking a stroll around Nadia Nagar, he came to Maheshwar Visharada Pandit's house. At that time, Devanand resided there. Mahaprabhu heard him reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam from outside and became very angry. What purport will that rascal explain? Not in any of his births has he understood the meaning of even one verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is the avatar of Sri Krishna in book form. Devotion is the only subject it teaches. The four Vedas are like yogurt and the Bhagavatam is like butter. Srila Sukadev Goswami did the churning and Maharaj Parikshit ate that butter. Sukadev Goswami is very dear to me. He knows very well that the Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to describe the truth about me according to my own liking. Whoever sees any difference between me, my own devotees, and the Srimad Bhagavatam simply brings destruction upon himself. Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Khanda, chapter 21, text 13. Okay, this statement that whoever sees any difference between me, my devotee, and Srimad Bhagavatam simply brings destruction upon himself. Mahaprabhu made these statements in a voice loud enough for Devananda to hear. Then he turned to go back to his home. The devotees following him begged for more mercy. He continued, all the scriptures state that the Srimad Bhagavatam enunciates the highest realization. Without having understood any of this, simply for the sake of name and fame, as a religionist and a scholar, he poses himself as a teacher of this great book, but he doesn't know the purport. Only one who has understood that the Srimad Bhagavatam is verily the inconceivable intelligence of the Supreme Lord himself knows that the only meaning of the Bhagavatam is devotion. In order to understand the book Bhagavata, one has to serve the devotee Bhagavata. Devananda could hear all of these remarks from the distance, yet he thought nothing of it. After some time, Gaur Sundar accepted sannyas and went to live at Nilachal. It was then that Devanand at last began to feel some remorse. Such a great soul, totally imbued with love of God, but I never went even once to have his association. So when Mahaprabhu took sannyas, when he was still in Navadvip as a grihastha, many people still didn't understand the position of Mahaprabhu. They didn't take to bhakti. Devananda Pandit was one amongst them. But when Mahaprabhu was not there in Navadvip anymore after taking sannyas, then they started to realize he was such a sweet person, he was so wonderful, so amazing, and now he's gone. And then they started feeling and realizing what an exalted person Mahaprabhu was. So that's what is being said here. That uh, it was then, right, when Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas and went to live at Nilachala, it was then that Devananda at last began to feel some remorse. Such a great soul, totally imbued with love of God, but I never went even once to have his association. One day, Srila Vakreshwar Pandit came to Kulia. Who came? Vakreshwar Pandit. That is why first you need to get the mercy of a devotee, then you get the mercy of the Lord. So, once Vakreshwar Pandit came to Kulia to visit the house of one devotee there. In the evening, he held a festival of dancing and chanting the holy name. Devananda was present on this occasion and was completely stunned by Sri Vakreshwar's effulgence and ecstatic chanting and dancing. As the night progressed, more and more people came to listen to his kirtan until there was finally a huge crowd. Devananda took a cane and began to control the crowd so that Vakreshwar's dancing would not be disturbed. When Vakreshwar fainted in ecstatic love, Devananda carefully put his head on his lap and brushed the dust from his body and with his own upper cloth. Then he smeared that dust on his own body. That day, his service to the devotees had its auspicious beginning. After some days, Mahaprabhu returned to Bengal to see his mother and the holy Ganges. He also came to Kulia. At that time, thousands upon thousands of people came to have darshan of his lotus feet. All of those who had previously committed offenses against Nimai Pandit by thinking him to be an ordinary human being now came to seek his forgiveness. Mahaprabhu forgave each and every one of them. Among those present was Devananda, who fell down on the ground to offer his obeisances to Mahaprabhu. From that moment, he became one of the Lord's foremost devotees. Still, he felt a little hesitant, and thus, upon getting up, he stood to one side. Mahaprabhu addressed him, "Because you have served my dear devotee Vakreshwar, I am now pleased with you. By that service, you have now been able to approach me. Within Vakreshwar's person is Sri Krishna's complete potency. Whoever serves him must receive Krishna's mercy." Devananda, in a faltering voice, replied, "You are the supreme controller. Simply for the sake of reclaiming fallen souls, you have advented yourself here at Nadia. I am a sinful wretch and have never served your lotus feet, and thus was cheated of your causeless mercy for so many years. O my Lord, who resides within the heart of all living entities, you are supremely merciful. Only because you have shown yourself to me have I been able to see you. O most compassionate one, please instruct me. Let me know the actual purport of the Srimad Bhagavatam." Mahaprabhu replied, "Now hear me, O Brahmana, and know that the only way to explain the verses of the Bhagavatam is in terms of bhakti. In the beginning, middle, and end of the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is only one teaching, devotion to Vishnu, which is eternally perfect and which is never destroyed or diminished. As Krishna's various incarnations, such as Matsya and Kurma, appear and disappear in this world by their sweet will, in the same way, the Srimad Bhagavatam is not made or composed by any person. It makes its appearance and disappearance by its own sweet will. Due to the appearance of devotion, the Bhagavatam blossomed forth from Vyasadev's mouth by the mercy of Lord Krishna. As the truths regarding the supreme authority are inconceivable, so are the truths of Srimad Bhagavatam. Many may pretend to know its meaning, but they have no real grasp of the evidence the Bhagavatam presents. But whoever who simply remembers the Srimad Bhagavatam while admitting himself to be ignorant can understand the real meaning. Okay? So, no one can understand Srimad Bhagavatam, but it is the attitude, right? Whoever simply remembers Srimad Bhagavatam while admitting himself to be ignorant can understand the real meaning. The Bhagavad, which is saturated with loving devotion for Krishna, is an expansion of Krishna himself and contains descriptions of his most confidential pastimes. Chaitanya Bhagavad Antyakhanda. Now you should beg forgiveness by catching hold of Srivas Pandit's feet. Mahaprabhu is telling who? Who is Mahaprabhu telling? Devananda Pandit. Now you should beg forgiveness by catching hold of Srivas Pandit's feet. The book Bhagavad and the devotee Bhagavad are not different. If the devotee Bhagavad is merciful to us, then the book Bhagavad manifests its true meaning. Then Devananda fell at Srivas Pandit's feet and begged forgiveness. Srivas embraced him and his offense retreated far away. All the devotees shouted in ecstasy, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. His disappearance is on the 11th day of the dark fortnight in the month of Pausha. That is today. Today is the disappearance day of Srila Devananda Pandit. So we will stop here today. I didn't read Bhagavad Gita and Lilamrita because I took time to read about Devananda Pandit. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees. All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. And India, you have the rest of the evening in Krishna consciousness. I'll see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Hare Krishna.